Yes, in the homelands. I thought we could leave him there, but he escaped to Avalon. He took on human form, or rather he used one of his followers as a vessel. It was only when he sensed that Nimue, Merlin's apprentice, had discovered his true nature that he revealed his real form. The beast grew to the size of a mountain, striding toward the temple his followers had built for him deep in the woods. I dread to think what would have happened if he'd made it there. We barely managed to bring him down, and clearly, not completely. I outlawed the Stagfather's cult, but I see that 6 centuries later, it's still around, and surprisingly, among the Dalrita as well. I thought they worshipped only Mathea.
Hello there, and sorry I haven't much time for chatter, I'm afraid. I was just about to set off again. I don't like traveling after nightfall. Gods know what slithers in the dark. Weirdness. Now that one's got a cruel appetite. Chews up lives like bread crusts. So best keep moving, right? Of course. In all this hurry, I forgot my manners. My name is Fillmore. But do not call me a lady, though my father would probably prefer it that way. Some knights aren't too fond of having a woman among them. Yes, he's a bit, overprotective, especially when it comes to the family name and what people say. He never made it to the Round Table himself, so he pinned his hopes on my brothers. One ended up as a bodyguard. The other took priestly vows. That left him bitterly disappointed, and, well, he didn't have much belief left in a daughter. Even if I've come much, much farther than they ever did. Why? I suppose I thought it would make me count. People notice a knight. They move aside when you pass. I read that even among the Knights of the Round Table, there were few women. Percival, for example. Oh, what a wonderful life she must have had. forlorn swords. But, if you don't mind, I'd rather keep the purpose of my journey to myself for now. I'd hate to jinx it having come this far already. The road from Burrow to Connacht wasn't easy, and there's still much ahead. Yes, I heard they're not really friendly to outsiders. But I've no intention of getting in anyone's way. I'll keep to the paths that seem long forgotten. Besides, I'm not exactly searching for something most folk would care about anyway. Thank you. Safe travels, kind wanderer.
I thought I heard it here once. Soft, like a crack in the air before storm. But it slipped away. Again. Did you hear it? Something we lost before we knew how to miss it. It shaped the way the rivers bend, the way trees lean into the wind. It's still out there, just harder to hear. I'm trying to hear the perfect thought. What remains of it, at least. It was the first true thing. We were made from it. We remember only the weight of its absence. It wasn't a word, and it wasn't a sound. It was what came before all. Before we knew how to shape clay and burn fields, before we named anything at all. Before all that, there was a thought. Not a rule, not a command. Just the rightness of a thing standing where it should stand. Growing where it should grow. I don't think it meant. I think we forgot how to hold it. Because it's the only thing that ever made sense. Everything else is broken. It's real because nothing else ever fit right after it was gone. Maybe nothing. Maybe the stones would sit straighter in the ground. Thank you for listening. My clansmen lost patience for me. A while ago. Here, take this. It might prove useful during your travels. Farewell.
The forest whispered, the fire screamed, the bones agreed, and at last, here you are, just in time. The horned god told me, before hatred blinded him. He said your paths would cross, that you would bring redemption or ruin. In my dreams, I hear the crack of seals and snapping bones. The horned god, cursed with pain and blood, tears at the bonds I used to bind him. The earth trembles with his fury. Can you feel it? Soon, he will break free. And then we shall pay for calling him with blood, not faith. Yes, Gudri, who took the horned god's fury into himself to save us all. He reached for blood and bone, and let me turn his body and soul into a vessel for the god's essence. I sealed it with wards, like a cage of thorns. But the god's wrath will tear through them, sooner or later. And when that happens, there'll be no saving us. If you want to bind a god, you don't choose the method. You use everything. Old songs stolen from the dead, runes slick with black blood, teeth and claws. The horned god in his hate-twisted form was a nightmare that came to devour us all. The finest warriors of the spine, the pride of our tribe, gave their lives on the altar of battle to weaken him. My disciples, my sons and daughters, they strayed. After the Gunvalda massacre, I and the others who served the horned god could not bear the shame. We heard our kin cry out and turned our heads. We betrayed our blood. The most devout called upon the old powers, out of grief, out of rage, but without reverence or care. They begged the horned god to come and punish us, and he did. Not as a guardian, not as a spirit of the woods. He came as fury, pain, and slaughter. They opened a door, and I gave them the key, in the form of songs, rites, and signs. I didn't think they'd reach so deep into the dark. By the time I saw what they were doing, the earth was already soaked in blood. He cannot be healed. He will not forgive us. But I can try to keep him bound by will, by bone, and by blood. To do that, I need a fragment of his original self. The first trophy. The skull of the first stag ever hunted and offered in sacrifice to the horned god. It will remind him of who he once was. Bind his essence to the first offering, one made out of reverence, not fear. It may hold him in the unrealm of the hunt, long enough for me to complete the rite that will seal him there. It's hidden, tied to the places where we once worshipped the horned god. 3 shrines, as old as the forest itself. But now, they must be destroyed. Each one is guarded by a servant of ancient memory. Kill them. Cast down what still remains upon their altars. Once all 3 fall, the 4th shrine, hidden and forgotten, will reveal itself. The first trophy waits there. Go, but be warned. The shrines are no longer sacred. They're fouled by hatred, and the guardians who watch over them do not rest. Until we meet again. I've been waiting for you. I knew you'd succeed. Fire and bone do not lie. There's no time left, child. The horned god is tearing Gudri's body apart, and his fury fills the air. Soon, his essence will break loose and devour everything in its path. I must begin the ritual. But I fear he may be too blinded by rage and pain to see the first trophy as anything more than bone and memory. Your path leads to the unrealm of the hunt. There, you'll face the horned god. If you can weaken him, if you can break through the frenzy even for a moment, then the first trophy might reach what's left of his old self. Oh, child, we both know you're not entirely human. Your second soul will guide you where others lose their way and perish. I understand. He's the chieftain after all. But be wary of his words. Whatever is going through your mind right now, there is no other option. We need you and your help. If you need to prepare, go. I'll open the passage for you anyway. But remember, you're not going there to bring death to the horned god. Wound him, weaken him, then return. That's when the trophy will speak, and I will close the gate behind you. Hopefully, for good. Take care. The horned god does not forgive weakness.